Relief is finally coming for car buyers. KSBY News reporter Kimberly Cruz has details on the price shifting that's happening both in the new and used car markets.
The 11 most hyped cars of all time are now rotting in showrooms, forgotten, overpriced, and completely unwanted. Despite flashy marketing and big promises, some lost over 80% in sales. Manufacturers are now begging dealers to sell them cheap. And wait till you see how hard the number 7 flopped. Number 11, the Jaguar E-Pace. This one had dreams. It strutted in with that British swagger, acting like a mini Range Rover with a pedigree. And what happened? Only 327 people across the entire country bought one last quarter. That's not a car. That's an endangered species. This thing loses 66% of its value in 3 years. That's $32,000 gone, faster than your weekend plans. And don't even start on the electrical issues. It fails 5 times more often than its rivals. Like, how do you mess up a luxury SUV that badly? Oh right, by forgetting the luxury part. Audi, BMW, even Mazda are leaving this thing in the dust. And to top it all off, Jaguar's dealers have some of the worst satisfaction ratings in the segment. What a package. If that was luxury disappointment with electrical issues, this next one takes Italian flair and turns it into a financial horror show. Number 10, the Maserati Ghibli, the drama queen of Italian sedans. This one comes dressed in a $95,000 price tag, flaunting its exotic vibes. And then you open the door and see buttons from a Jeep Cherokee. I wish I was kidding. This thing has lost 71% of its sales since 2019 and now barely moves 100 units per quarter. Want a financial horror story? This car loses 68% of its value in 3 years, around $60,000 evaporated. That's enough to buy a whole Kia and still have money for therapy after owning a Ghibli. And it's not just cheap parts. It has transmission failures, electrical gremlins, and reliability that makes Alfa Romeo look responsible. Even Genesis, yes, Genesis, beats this thing in resale and reliability. That should be illegal. And just when you thought things couldn't get more outdated, the next one rolls in clinging to a decade-old platform like it's vintage, except no one asked for it. Number 9, the Infiniti Q50, a car still clinging to life on a 2014 platform. Seriously, 10 years and the most exciting update they gave it was dual screens running 2 different operating systems. What genius thought that was a good idea? This car lost 63% of its sales since 2021 and only moved 1,742 units last quarter. Not bad. If you're selling cassette tapes in 2026, the Q50 loses 58% of its value, around $31,000 gone, and the adaptive steering? It fails before you even hit the warranty wall. And here's the punchline. It costs 38% more to maintain over 5 years than a Lexus IS. You're paying more for less, and getting a headache with every turn of the wheel. But if ancient tech wasn't bad enough, the next one tries to bring back nostalgia and still manages to confuse absolutely everyone. Number 8, the Nissan Z. This one had all the ingredients: twin turbo, manual option, nostalgic design, and then boom, priced just high enough to lose its fans and scare off new buyers. Inventory is sitting untouched, even at promo events. Reviews tore it apart for having the charm of a microwave. Outdated interior, plasticky everything, and the build quality? Let's just say IKEA has better panel gaps. It tried to compete with the Supra and lost. Tried to charm old-school Z fans. They said, nah. It's like a reboot of a classic movie that forgot the script. At least that one had a turbo and some history. This next coupe? It showed up, screamed track ready, and got completely ignored by an entire generation. Number 7, the Toyota GR86, a car that sold only 36 units last month, not per region, total, in the entire country. You could literally fit all the GR86 buyers in one Applebee's booth. Why did it fail? No AWD, no utility, no real value in today's market. The Supra and Civic Type R came along and said, "Step aside, Grandpa." The GR86 had the soul of the 90s, but in 2026, people are shopping for crossovers, not corner carvers. It's a ghost car now, quick on track, invisible everywhere else. And if you think a low-selling sports car is sad, wait till you see what happens when even America's favorite muscle car can't get off the lot. Number 6, Ford managed to screw up the Mustang. You know, the legend, the American icon, the I'm cool without trying car. And now, it's just sad. The gas coupe version is sitting on lots for over 400 days, outshined by its own cousin, the Mustang Mach-E. That's right, the EV is now the star, while the coupe collects cobwebs. Add high interest rates and emissions crackdowns, and you've got a car that feels like it belongs in a museum, not a driveway. And for the first time in history, no one wants one. By the way, if you're enjoying watching these so-called legends crumble, hit that subscribe button, because we've got even more car flops coming that'll make this look like a warm-up. Back to the video. Now, if that legendary burnout ended in silence, the next one shows what happens when a car tries to be premium, but nobody, and I mean nobody, asked for it. Number 5. The Volkswagen Arteon. Now, this one really tried to pull a fast one. It came in priced at over $43,000, trying to act like a budget Audi with big dreams and zero actual street cred. But guess what? VW fans said, "Too rich for my blood," and luxury buyers laughed in German. Sales are down 83%, and they only managed to move 632 units recently. That's not a sales figure. That's a bad attendance count at a middle school talent show. But the real kicker? The Arteon hemorrhages value like it's on fire. 62% depreciation in just 3 years means you're down over $30,000 before you even hit your second oil change. And if you manage to drive it long enough, congratulations. You now get to enjoy electrical bugs, sunroof leaks, and water pump failures like it's a choose-your-own-suffering adventure. VW got so tired of pretending anyone wanted this car that they straight up announced its discontinuation. Not refresh, not facelift, just, we give up. Good call. But if pretending to be luxury on a VW budget wasn't bold enough, the next disaster actually thought it could lead the EV revolution and ended up forgotten in the back of the lot. Number 4. The ID.4. This thing was supposed to be their bold step into the EV future. It tripped and fell flat on its face. In theory, it was supposed to compete with Teslas and Bolts. In reality, it's like bringing a butter knife to a lightsaber duel. Inventory is piling up across major cities, with dealers practically begging people to take them. And still, nothing. Even with cash incentives flying out like candy at a parade, the interest is colder than last year's leftover turkey. It doesn't help that the ID.4 doesn't really lead in anything. It's not cheaper than the Bolt, it's not cooler than the Model Y, and it's not tech-savvy enough to fool anyone. And that infotainment system? It's like wrestling with a touchscreen that doesn't like you back. Sluggish, clunky, confusing. It's like VW installed Windows 98 and called it a day. Buyers ran straight to plug-in hybrids and better-built EVs that don't glitch when you ask it for directions. Now that we've seen what a failed electric future looks like, let's talk about what happens when a once-beloved budget hero becomes invisible in its own price range. Number 3. The Nissan Versa. Once upon a time, it was the king of budget sedans. Your first car, your college commute hero, the car that got you from point A to point B without asking for too much. And now, it's the automotive equivalent of beige wallpaper. Technically there, but nobody wants to look at it. Versa's big problem? Everything else got better while it just sat there aging. Used crossovers and older sedans now offer more tech, comfort, and space, all for the same price. Even worse, the people who were once buying Versas, subprime borrowers, are getting rejected or priced out thanks to climbing interest rates. What's left? A stripped-down interior, a yawn-inducing drive, and zero buzz from dealers who can't move the inventory no matter how many balloons they tie to the antenna. And if that one disappeared quietly, the next entry crashes onto the scene with sleek curves, performance promises, and enough ownership nightmares to make your wallet cry. Number 2. The Alfa Romeo Giulia. On paper, this car was supposed to be the comeback kid. Sleek Italian design, crisp handling, and enough charisma to make you fall in love before you hit second gear. But in the real world, it's a financial horror film. In Q1 alone, they sold a whopping 541 units. Yep, that's not luxury. That's liquidation. Buyers learned fast. The Giulia may look hot, but it comes with a temper. Electrical problems, drivetrain faults, and that infamous Alfa reliability that practically guarantees you'll know your mechanic on a first-name basis. Resale value? A joke. It collapses faster than a house of cards in a wind tunnel. And the cherry on top? Sales managers are quietly steering buyers away from it. Imagine being a product so cursed even the people selling it whisper, maybe look at a Lexus instead. But as unreliable as that one was, at least it looked good. The next so-called luxury SUV manages to deliver even less, for even more, while sitting unsold for months on end. Number 1. The Jaguar F-Pace. Now this one had high hopes too, meant to compete with the BMW X3 and Audi Q5. Instead, it's just sitting and sitting. Dealer lots are stacked with months' worth of stock, even though they're throwing discounts like confetti. Why? Because when you're charging premium prices, people expect, well, premium things, not infotainment meltdowns, engine stutters, and components that wear out faster than your last pair of socks. Jaguar wanted to be seen as sleek and sexy. What they delivered was expensive and exhausting. The F-Pace is getting clobbered by newer, better-value crossovers like the Genesis GV70 and Acura RDX, cars that offer more for less and don't give you anxiety every time a warning light blinks. And when your competitors are not just beating you, but laughing while doing it, maybe it's time to admit the British luxury thing isn't fooling anyone anymore. So, there you have it. One overpriced disappointment after another. From the Ardion's identity crisis to the Versa's invisibility, the ID.4's failed revolution, and 2 luxury brands that clearly just gave up. And guess what? All this chaos? Still not even the worst part. Because these cars didn't just flop in sales, they flopped in value, reliability, tech, and everything in between. And the people stuck with them? Oh, they're learning that lesson the hard way.